All these devoted themselves to prayer, and Mary, the mother of Jesus, was with them. My dear sisters and brothers, our Blessed Mother, under various titles, has been presented to us as the model of prayer, of communion with God, of union with God. In fact, Luke in chapter 2, verse 19, and also in 21 would say, "And Mary kept all these things in her heart and pondered over them." Talk of a contemplative, a mystic, someone who loses herself in the Lord. And today, as we celebrate her as the mother of the church, I'm glad that we chose the first reading from the Acts of the Apostles, where we are told that 120 of them gathered in the upper room, and they devoted themselves to prayer. But that church, that family, wasn't complete without the mother of Jesus, our mother. And that is why Luke would say, "And the mother of Jesus was there." Words that would ring so very loud and clear in the Gospel according to St. John. You remember chapter 2? Now there was a wedding at Cana in Galilee. Jesus and his disciples were invited to the wedding, and the mother of Jesus was there. And that is why when Debbie chose that gospel passage, which I happened to read as I was driving by yesterday, about the mother standing at the foot of the cross, in other words, it's a spirit telling us Jesus was on the cross for you and for me, and the mother of Jesus was there. I love that exchange between John and Jesus and the mother. Of course, Jesus is the sole speaker. The others are silent listeners and responders. "Behold your mother." And then he turns to John and says, "Behold your mother." And then he turns to the mother and says, "Behold your son." And we are told that from that moment, the disciple took her into his home. 44 years ago, when I joined the novitiate with the Salesians, we were all looking forward to that date, May 24th. 30 of us joined, and 24 of us made our profession on the 24th of May. And so every year, it is with eager longing we await that day when more and more are added to the number, to the Salesian congregation, whether it be brothers or priests. And on this day, we make our religious profession. We take our vows of chastity, obedience, and poverty. And 7 years later, I made a perpetual profession, perpetual vow. And so this day is sacred to us. It's a day that we celebrate as a special day in our family. And even the title, Mary, Help of Christians, although it kind of sounds a little exclusive, it's not meant to be so. It is against a historical context. For example, in the year 1571, when the Battle of Lepanto was fought, the whole church, the European church, prayed the Rosary, and they won the battle, and the victory was attributed to the praying of the Rosary. And so Pope Pius V would, in 1573, institute the feast of Our Lady of the Holy Rosary. A century later, in the 17th century, Emperor Lepanto took refuge in a shrine of Mary Help of Christians in Vienna, in Austria. And Vienna was surrounded by 200,000 army of Ottoman Turks. And finally, the battle dates were drawn on the 8th of September, and you would remember it as a feast of the birthday of the Mother, the Nativity of Mary. But on the 12th of September, the feast of the Holy Name of Mary, a great victory was won, and the Ottoman Empire withdrew. And Europe, Christendom, was saved. And during that battle, during those days, the Christians, the emperor, and the soldiers would shout out, "Mary, help! Mary, help!" And eventually, it would go on to become the title, Mary, Help of Christians. Just pause for a while here and visualize yourself in a situation. Maybe you are ill, or you've lost something, or you're in a tight spot, in a sticky situation, and you need help. And two words could be really powerful. Mary, help. Mary, help. And she is always there to help. Later on in the 19th century, in the year 1807, Napoleon entered Vatican and took Pius VII a prisoner. He led him to France, and the imprisonment lasted 5 years for the Holy Father, who prayed, should I say like hell? No, that would be a blasphemy. He prayed and stormed the heavens, and he would vow to the Lord that should he be released and go back to Vatican, he would institute a feast in honor of Mary, Help of Christians. And sure enough, 5 years later, on the 24th of May, 1814, 1 year before the birthday of Don Bosco, he would be released and go back to Vatican. And 1 year later, the year Don Bosco was born, on the 24th of May, Pius VII would promulgate and institute the feast of Mary, Help of Christians. And all his life, Don Bosco spread devotion to the Mother. And in one line he would say, "Trust in Mary, Help of Christians, and you will see what miracles are." Even as a little boy of 9, he had a dream. And in the dream, Jesus would appear. And immediately, Johnny Bosco would ask this figure, whom he didn't recognize as Jesus, "And who are you?" And the figure, Jesus, would say, "I am the son of him whom your parents taught you to greet 3 times a day," meaning the Angelus. And then Jesus would go on to tell Johnny Bosco, "I'll give you a guide, a teacher without whom all wisdom is foolishness." And from that day onwards, Don Bosco would walk hand in hand and work hand in glove with the Mother. And later on, towards the end of his life, he would say that he never made one move, never took one step, never did anything without first consulting the Mother, Mary, Help of Christians. And towards the end of his life, in 1868, on the 9th of June, he would consecrate to the Mother the shrine of Mary, Help of Christians, that is in Turin. I hope some of you get to visit and pray there. And so, all I say to you today is, trust in Mary, Help of Christians, and you will see what miracles are. Don Bosco also had a famous dream in the year 1862 on the 14th of May. And in the dream, he saw a ship, a huge vessel, and at the head was the then Holy Father. And immediately he knew that it represented the bark of Peter, the church itself. And it was being tossed about and was about to capsize when all of a sudden two pillars rose from beneath the sea. And on one pillar was a large host, obviously representing the Eucharist. And on the other was the statue of Mary, Help of Christians. And the Holy Father would pilot the ship in between these and anchor between those pillars. And Don Bosco would say that he founded the congregations to spread devotion to the Eucharist and to the Mother. And so, on this most beautiful day, I know I'm a bit long and long-winded. All I say to you is, trust in Mary, Help of Christians, and you will see what miracles are. And should you remember just one word, let those words be Mary,